What's going on, guys? Welcome back. And today I'm going to be doing, I guess, the part 2 of my series, my new series, where I talk about the Dark Knight trilogy. I did my first part earlier today or yesterday. It depends on when I'm posting this. Um, but this is my review of the Dark Knight, and this is the big one, guys. This is the one that kind of really changed the superhero genre and made everyone look at it in a different light, and it's still held as the best superhero movie ever made, a comic book movie, whatever you want to call them. And I might have to agree. I didn't really remember much about this movie. I've watched The Batman Begins many times. I have never watched The Dark Knight Rises all the way through, and I haven't watched this one all the way through in a long time. And I finally watched it all the way through, and this movie's so good. Like, honestly, I'm really shocked. It's better than Batman Begins, in my opinion. My brother says he thinks this is the weakest one of the trilogy because I'm watching them with him. I disagree. I was really surprised with it. I have some images burned in my brain. Like, I have some things that I remember from it because there's so many things that you, like the Joker's famous quotes, like, "Do you want to know how I got these scars?" and "Why so serious?" And I remember the bank robbery at the beginning. I remember uh, the image of Joker walking away from the hospital. I remember Two-Face. There's some things that I remember, but I didn't really remember everything. And this movie's so good. Like, it's really dark, and it's almost impossible to judge the Dark Knight trilogy as a superhero trilogy because they don't feel like superhero movies. They feel um like dark crime thrillers, and this movie is so creepy, and it's really dark and scary, and like throughout, like, mainly like the final act of the film, I think the last like 30 to 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, I was gripped. I was terrified. And the first half of the movie takes a little while to pick up, like, personally, but like this movie, you have to listen to every piece of dialogue because, like, for the first half, like, it took me a little while to grasp everything, but once I did, I got so invested with each of these characters, and all the actors were once again great. They recast Rachel, Batman's girlfriend, or now Harvey Dent's girlfriend. She's better, in my opinion, than the first actress that played her. You want, like, a lot of the original cast coming back. Gary Oldman, um, Morgan Freeman, and Michael Caine, and of course Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and Batman. All great except for Christian Bale. I still find the Bruce Wayne character kind of boring. He's not in this movie as much as the first one, thankfully, and the thing is about the first one, I forgot to mention this, I actually like the young Bruce Wayne, and I like the beginning of his character, but after that, he's just kind of a bland character to me, and a bland portrayal of Bruce Wayne. Um, but other than that, I really love him as Batman, and Batman, I think, is the more interesting of the two identities. But I've heard that The Dark Knight Rises focuses more on Bruce Wayne's character, which I'm really excited to see. Man, Harvey Dent in this movie, like, he is such a great character, and he has the main quote, and I think the main message of the movie, which is, either you die hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that quote goes back to, obviously, the main message of the movie, that is, in the end, the Joker manipulates him by telling him chaos is fair, and that's his whole thing throughout the movie, is, like, everything's chance. Everything to Harvey is chance. And he has his father's coin or whatever, and he's always like, let's flip a coin. It's up to the flip of the coin to determine what's going to happen to you when he's, like, killing everybody at the end. Um, but Joker manipulates him by saying chaos is fair, and all this stuff. So then he goes out and goes on a crazy killing spree, and no one realizes it until he tells them what he did. And then Batman goes out, and that's where the ending scene happens, where um, the scene that really disturbed me, which is where Harvey takes Gordon's son, and he's like gonna shoot him, and I was really scared at that moment. Like, when he started, like, when he picked up his son, and then, like, the mom was like, no, and I was really disturbed by that. Um, and Batman shows up, he's like, point the gun at the people who were responsible, and he's like, fair enough, and he shoots Batman. Um, he flips the coin and he shoots Batman, and then Batman has to kill Harvey, breaks his one rule, and then in the end he says once again what Harvey said: you either die hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And that Harvey became the villain, but Joker really broke down Gotham. So the only way to um, kind of restore hope is to make people think that Harvey was the hero the whole time. Um, um, and he wasn't the villain, even though he was. So, like, there's a really very interesting shot where Batman flips his scarred face over, and just shows the one side of his face that is still normal. And he's like, they have to believe that he was the hero. I'm the one who killed all those people. And Gordon's like, no, you didn't. But he's like, I can be whatever Gotham needs me to be. I'm the hero it deserves, but not the one it needs right now. And that's where the movie ends. And Gordon says he's the Dark Knight. Man, the movie's so good, guys. There's so many messages and stuff packed in, and it's a pretty long movie. It's 2.5 hours, but they pack in so much into it, and so many deep themes in it. And it's mostly because of Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. And now, my family's been having this thing where we've been going on about how we don't really like Heath Ledger as the Joker. And I'm sorry, I was wrong about Heath Ledger as the Joker. He's so good. He's just this creepy guy. And, like, for the first half, he was kind of making me laugh because I thought he was over the top. But then, once that scene came up, the interrogation scene where he's like, when Batman's like, where are they? And that is kind of goofy, but I don't really hate his voice at all. But when that interrogation scene happens, that's when I was like, okay, this character is great. And after that scene, he just kept it up so well. So I do kind of think Heath Ledger deserved the Best Supporting Actor Oscar from 2008. And unfortunately, if you didn't know, Heath Ledger passed away even before the film came out. This movie came out in like June or July of 2008, and he died in January. So rest in peace to him. And my family, we just kept saying, like, oh, Heath Ledger just got the Oscar because people were sad that he died. And we were saying kind of, I wouldn't say we weren't saying it in that way. We weren't saying it in a mean way. And we were acknowledging the fact that it's sad that he died, but we never really thought he was that great. But man, he is great. He is really good as the Joker, especially in the second half. So yeah, rest in peace to Heath Ledger, but he did an incredible job as the Joker in this movie, manipulating everybody, and it's just so intense. Like after I'd say the first half comes around, there's just intense scene after intense scene, and there's like plots are unveiled. And now I'll talk about some negatives, which I have very few really to talk about. There's a really weird scene where Joker has this truck, and my brother once again talked about how Christopher Nolan doesn't like to use visual effects, so when Joker's giant truck flips over, apparently that was a real truck that got flipped over. That was pretty cool. But how, like, Joker's the only one that survived, but Gordon was dressed up as a Joker goon. So I don't know if he just showed up there, put on the Joker mask, but I think they're trying to say that he infiltrated Joker's whole thing, his whole scheme, and made everyone think he was dead after he got shot at, like, the funeral or whatever. And then he got shot and they all thought he was dead, but he actually was alive the whole time. And he infiltrated Joker and saved Batman. I love that scene where he goes and talks to his son. He's like, did Batman save you, Daddy? He's like, actually, this time, I saved him. That's great. But I really like that scene a lot where he infiltrates Joker, and it's like all the plans are unveiled. It's like, okay, so Harvey meant to tell everyone he was Batman. They would know Joker would attack him. And all this. It was kind of confusing to me because I thought Harvey was okay, and then like one scene later, he's like captured, and Batman's like, "Where are they?" It's kind of weird. It's like, what time did they have to take Harvey in captive? Like, I don't know if I probably missed a line of dialogue. That's the thing. There's so much stuff in this movie you can't miss. But there's some dumb stuff. There's a few dumb things in the movie. Like at the beginning of the movie, Joker takes this bus he robs this bank. And then he drives this bus, and it's like smoking. So he drives the bus out of the wall of the bank, and then just joins this parade of buses. But like, the shot is so obvious. Like, there's 2 more buses coming to the line behind him. He just joins this line of buses. But how come there was a perfect space for him to pull into this line of buses? And how come no one thought to check? Because the second later, the buses pass, and then the police cars come in. But it just pulled out of the wall, and it's smoking. Did no one think to check that? I don't know. I always thought that was kind of dumb. And who was that bank manager? The bank manager just had like a gun. I don't know what the heck was going on. And what did Joker do? Did he put like a smoke bomb or in his mouth or something? He put a knife in his mouth, but then there's like some smoke coming out of it. I don't even know what happened in that opening scene. But yeah, that's a little bit of a weird thing, but I'm willing to let that slide because the rest of this movie is so good. And I would say probably it's the best superhero movie. You can't really, at the same time, you can't really judge it against the Marvel movies. Like, you can't judge it against the MCU or against, like, the current superhero movies we have today, because a lot of those are just plain old blockbusters. But this is really like, Christopher Nolan has the serious tone that he goes for, and he really excelled at it with this film, and this movie's so good. The score as well is great. It was James Newton Howard and Hans Zimmer again, and a lot of it's just background noise, similar to Dunkirk, where a lot of the score was it just sounded like background noise. it's like this in this film. Like every time Joker comes on screen, it's like this little background tune. It's really creepy and really interesting. Um, and yeah, just the pacing is really good too. It's like Joker just kind of comes into the movie at a few points and then disappears for a little while, and he comes back in when you don't expect him to. Um, yeah, this movie is honestly like pretty much a mastercraft of how to create one of these films. And I don't think every movie has to be edgy and dark like the Dark Knight trilogy, but this movie is incredible, and I would probably say it is the best comic book movie, but like I don't really know if I can judge it against the MCU. But yeah, let me know. Do you think it's the best superhero movie ever? I would probably have to say that rewatching it because it's so much more incredible than I ever thought it was. Um, but yeah, there are some other little nitpicky things, but some of them probably aren't even problems. They're just probably because I missed something while I was watching it. Because you just can't miss any line of dialogue when you're watching this film. But I don't think they were. I think I just have a few other nitpicks. I don't currently remember what they were. But yeah, man, The Dark Knight's incredible. If you haven't seen the Dark Knight trilogy, you need to watch it. These movies are incredible, and yeah, this movie is definitely a very serious tone. It's a very dark movie, and I haven't really seen The Dark Knight Rises all the way through. I know some about it, but not much. So I can't wait to watch Dark Knight Rises, and I hope it does delve into Bruce Banner more or Bruce Bruce Wayne more as a character. Um, because I don't really love the Christian Bale version in the first two films, so I'm excited to see what it does with that character. But yeah, I'm really excited to watch Dark Knight Rises. You guys let me know what you think of The Dark Knight and what you thought of my review in the comments as well. Do you think it is the best superhero movie ever? It's up there for me, personally, having rewatched it. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of my review of The Dark Knight and what you thought of the movie as well, and if you've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, just go watch all these movies. Go watch The Dark Knight trilogy. It's incredible. But yeah, you guys let me know what you thought of my review of The Dark Knight and what you thought of the movie as well. And also let me know, do you think Heath Ledger deserved the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor? The movie was nominated for a ton of Oscars that I'm pretty sure it does deserve. Especially now in today's world where hardly any comic book movies are ever nominated or win Oscars except for Black Panther that just won a bunch of Oscars. But yeah, you guys let me know what you think of The Dark Knight as a film and what you thought of my review as well. And I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.